I wanted to take the thing out my mouth. Good evening, good evening, good evening. How are you? Happy Thursday. It's Thursday, right? Happy Thursday. I hope everybody is doing well on this Thursday evening. And welcome back again because today is our second day of speaking with our speakers at our upcoming conference. My name is Noreen N. Henry. I'm your Victorious Living strategist. I'm the founder of Victorious Living Culture, where we are on a movement to have people live victoriously every day, regardless of what is going on. So, my guest today, our speaker today is Catherine James. So, I'm going to bring her on and introduce you. So, have a moment. Here she goes. Hi, Catherine.
Hello, hello. Hey, Noreen.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for coming on to this show, and also for being a speaker at our upcoming conference. So it's Live Your Best Life Now, Unleash Your Greatest Potential, and Truly Own Your Life. So give us a little introduction of yourself.
Well, first off, let me say thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you for having me here tonight. Thank you for having me as a speaker in the tour for the second time around and in a very different setting. But I'm very excited
Mhm.
to be with you yet again. For again, I'm Catherine James, owner and founder of Sensational Living Training and Development, where I work primarily with professional women and entrepreneur women, and I help them go from a place that I call stuck, where
Mhm.
you are feeling like you're fed up, overwhelmed, undervalued, underappreciated,
Mm.
frustrated, into sensational, where you understand the root cause of your blocks, get really clear on what you want, and develop the courage to take the action you need so that you can live the life that you truly desire to live.
Awesome, awesomeness. Um, Now I forgot. I had a question in mind. It left me. Uh, you can see that like the powerhouse that Catherine is, and how she has overcome things, just like we all go through things in life, right? But the key is moving forward and overcoming, not staying stuck in it. So I like that you even mentioned the word stuck, because that's and many times that's what happens with people. We get stuck.
Yes.
So you can talk a little bit about being stuck and being unstuck.
Mhm. Well, I think first off, I want to say as we hear the word stuck, a lot of times we think stuck is a bad thing and it's a negative thing. And I want to bring some clarity to that from my perspective, where stuck is not a negative thing. And as
Mhm.
I dive into a bit of trauma, what stuck is simply your body or your nervous system keeping you safe from
Mhm.
and possibly experiencing something that it believes is going to bring you harm. So just because we hear the word stuck or we find that we can't move, I want to say that it's not a bad thing and it's not your fault. It's not your fault. It is your nervous system doing its job. So to move from stuck, and some of what I like to get into is you first have to acknowledge and appreciate your nervous system for doing its job, and then learn how to allow it to feel safe enough to let you move into your sensational.
So with that, people that are unstuck, like that are already on that journey of being unstuck. So
Mhm.
that means they're doing this and not knowing that the nervous system, all these other things. I don't know all the right words for it, but so we're actually doing that, not realizing that it's actually it's from the nervous system
Right,
protecting us.
right,
Wow,
right.
that's deep. That's
And
deep.
it's
So
funny, and
that's something new. I'm sure it's new for many.
I'm sure it was an eye opener for me as I got into it. But what happens a lot of times I hear, and something that I'm really looking at and helping people to gain a better understanding of is we hear just do it, just do it. If you
Mm.
just do it, you'll be able to overcome the fear, you'll be able to overcome the hurdle. If you just think differently about it, you will be able to plow through it. But while that is true in some instances, what happens is each level that you reach, each new level that you reach, you will find yourself dealing with the same issue. So we always hear the term
Mm.
new levels bring new devils. What
Mhm.
happened really is that you didn't address it on the lower level. You just plowed through it. And,
Right,
and plowing through it, it's still there. So when
right.
you reach
It
that,
doesn't go away.
you have the same issue that you have to face yet again. So rather than continuing to go through these, I will call them traumatic experiences where we're
Mhm.
afraid, where we're uncertain, where we're nervous, where we're
Yep.
frustrated, if we just deal with it at the root, then we don't have to deal with it at the
Oh,
next level. And even if you do, you know what it is that you need to do to move yourself out of that space and into your more powerful space.
wow, this is deep, and that's why just talking on here today is encouraging. I'm hoping that the viewers, those that are on here live and those that are on the replay, join us on the conference because this
Yes.
is a topic that you don't hear much about as far as the body wise, right?
Mhm.
Because it's like you said, you're saying just move on, you just keep going, but
Right.
then you're moving on, but you're still moving on with those deep issues.
Yes.
Right? So
Yeah.
even though you're accomplishing, there's still stuff stuck inside of you.
Mhm.
That's even and that's preventing you also from being your full authentic self.
Right, right. From playing as big as you can. And oftentimes we hear, we are always running towards something, or running away from something, however you show up. But when you get there, you're like, this isn't as exciting as I thought it would be, or I
Right,
feel like there's still something wrong. And you have that feeling because it is your body, your gut, your nervous system talking to you. There is something still wrong. Whatever the underlying issue is that has not been addressed, it will always show up. We talk about, and you may hear people refer to it as your inner child, will always show up in
mm,
certain
wow,
situations where you feel like your back is against a wall, or things that make you uncomfortable or pull you out of your comfort zone a bit. That
right,
inner child will show up and you act out in that manner, trying to protect yourself.
right. So with Catherine's topic, let me give you the title of it that she'll be speaking on: Heal from Trauma, Own Your Life. So that is the title of Catherine's topic that she'll be speaking at the conference, Live Your Best Life Now, Unleash Your Greatest Potential. So I feel that it's a very important topic, and especially in the season that we're in, right? Because we went from one extreme to another,
Yeah.
and so it's like we have no break with the things that are happening in the world, right? Because it's
Yes.
not just in the States, it's in the world. So we
Yeah.
went from the pandemic and now it's the racial thing. So what I found for myself with all that came out with the racial issue was I had emotions that
Mhm.
were deep inside that I didn't know were there.
Mhm. Mhm.
So as a result of the racial tension with everything that's happening now, it brought it out.
Yeah.
So that means I had that stuck in me that I didn't know was there.
Yeah.
So then that's part of the nervous system, right?
Yeah.
With protecting by it being in me and not even realizing that it's there.
Mhm.
That was
Mhm.
the nervous system protecting me, and I didn't
Right.
know that that's what it was until now. Like, wow. So I love this topic.
I think
I
in
love this
particular.
topic because we need to be aware of what
Mhm.
goes on with our bodies as far as
Absolutely.
with especially the stock.
And we don't know how deeply embedded it is, in particular what you're speaking of in terms of today and the racial violence that's going on. I find that a lot of women, people in the professional realm, have to suppress a lot of their
Yes.
emotions, a lot of what they experience and they feel, in the professional world, corporate world, because if we don't,
Sorry.
we have the run the risk of being terminated. We run the risk of
Yeah.
being blackballed. So we tend to suppress
Right.
all of the feelings, all of the beliefs that we have regarding racism, and put on this smile
Right.
in this face, or what I call corporate cloak, so that you can thrive in that environment. However, it's very interesting that how I will say the times and how things are playing out, and that the entire racial issues and the injustices are being um, brought to our attention at a time where we are in quarantine, where we
Hmm.
don't necessarily have to go into the office and spend time with people who don't look like us. So you say the emotions are coming up because you're in your home and you don't have to worry about offending anyone. You don't have to worry
That's
about
right. That's
putting
right.
on the corporate
The
face. You
face.
don't have to worry
Yes.
about that. So you are feeling more free to emote
Hmm.
from a natural place, and that you don't have to suppress.
Right.
So it's very interesting that it happened at a time where we are in quarantine, and I
Right.
often wonder if that's why it is so vast, if that's why we see so many in terms of masses going
Hmm.
out and feeling free to go out and protest, because we don't have to go to the office and
Right.
um, deal with people every day. And I realize it's not just us that are protesting, it's a lot of other
Yes.
places as well.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
don't have to go into the office and look at someone who looks like you and maybe don't believe what you believe. You've got a freedom where
Yeah.
you can really be yourself, show up
Right.
authentically, and stand up
Right.
for what it is that you believe. So I
Right.
believe you're able to, because you're at home, you're able to emote freely and
Hmm.
from a very natural and organic place.
Right. I think, yeah, I think so too, because if I was at the job, um, I'm sure I would be different because and then we were raised to be one way at home, and then when you're out to be somebody different. And
Yeah,
so when being at the job anyway, you're not your true authentic self
right.
because of the way that we're raised. So that's one of the things that I've been undoing to be to be my authentic self wherever I am.
Yeah, yeah.
And
I would say the way that we were raised, and then the way that we were taught. For myself, when I entered the corporate sector, there was an expectation of how you are supposed to behave in that sector, and it just is what it is. The systemic racism, it's loud and it screams
yeah,
loudly, and
yes,
even
yeah,
with things being unspoken, things are spoken, and you just have a place, quote unquote, in that environment. So I am happy that things transpired in the time that
mhm,
they transpired.
right,
Um, Not that it happened, but
right,
it just seems like it's a perfect timing almost.
right, right, right. Like we know we're going by God's timing, right? So
Mhm.
everything happens the time that it's supposed to happen.
Yes,
So,
yes.
wow, this is deep. It's deep, and I'm looking forward to hearing more myself when you speak at the conference. So it's exciting. It's so exciting to hear this topic that will help many. Right?
Mhm.
It's gonna help so many with becoming unstuck.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then knowing why, knowing the reason, right? Knowing that it's the nervous system that is protecting us
Mhm.
why we remain stuck. And that's like kind of like saying also being in the comfort zone.
Right. It is. It is. That's actually a very good analogy, because when we are feeling comfortable, we feel safe. And that's what the nervous system is designed to do, is to keep you safe. And that safe can be a good thing. We want to be safe if, we're getting ready to step off the curb and a car is coming.
Right.
You want to be safe, but you don't want to be safe when you are at a job where maybe you are being underpaid, but because you're afraid to go out and try to get another job, that puts some type of brings some type of anxiety to you. So you sit and stay in that space. You don't necessarily want to be safe at that time, but because the nervous system doesn't know the difference between anxiety when you are getting ready to step off the curb and be hit by
Mhm.
a car versus anxiety when you just need to go for a job interview, all it
Mhm.
knows is to keep you safe.
Right. Wow. Wow. Again, I look forward to hearing more on this topic at the conference.
Mm.
So, it is time for our next guest. I thank you again for coming on,
Thank
and
you so
I
much.
appreciate you coming and being a part of this journey, right? Because it's a
Yes,
journey that we're on.
I am
So
honored. Thank you.
you are
Thank
welcome.
you. And I can't wait. I can't wait for the conference.
So that's all we say. Get your tickets. Get your tickets.
Yes, get your tickets.
All right. I'll talk to you shortly. Oops, wrong one. And now that was one of our guests, one of our speakers at the upcoming conference that is actually not this Saturday, but next Saturday. So it's coming up very quickly. So at the end of this show, we will put the link up so that you could get your tickets. So without further ado, we have our another speaker that is I'll be bringing on right now that you can hear from that will be speaking at the conference. So hold on one moment, and we'll bring in our next guest. Hi, Martha.
Hello.
How are you?
Great.
Great, good,
Great.
good to see you here. Good to see you here. So, as I said,
Thank you.
you are welcome. This is another speaker that will be on the at the conference, the Live Your Best Life Now, Unleash Your Greatest Potential and Truly Own Your Life. So let's say hi to Martha Davison. So Martha, introduce yourself. Give us a little bit about yourself.
Hey, thanks. I'm honored to be here and welcome to everyone that's listening. I am Martha Davidson. I am a transformational coach, best-selling author, and someone who is dedicated and passionate about changing individuals' perspective on how they see themselves and how they achieve their heart's desire. So I'm really excited about this opportunity to share my message, which
Yes.
somewhat is something that is a lot of what Catherine just spoke to, but also it is something that we have to do a lot. I call myself breaking free from being me.
Mm, wow. That's a powerful statement right there.
Hmm.
Breaking free from being me. So you can
Hmm.
touch a little bit about on that.
Certainly. So we are conditioned from birth on how things are supposed to be, what we're supposed to be. And what happens over
So
time
true.
is we also include in that our stories. And I believe that our stories are a collaboration of our memories, our beliefs that were given to us as we journey through our childhood years. It is also a um, a reflection of how we interpret those particular avenues in our life that may have caused us adversity or may have caused us joy. And what happens, we can begin to create what I call the stress factor. And the stress factor is the stories we tell ourselves, the
Wow.
thoughts that we create from those stories, and our reactions. Our reactions to those stories often lead us into emotions. We can have negative emotions or we can have positive emotions. But often, because
Right.
of what we were taught and what we were supposed to do and how we were supposed to act, we find ourselves in emotions that are negative versus more positive. So, as a result of that, we find ourselves then in what we call our self reflection. And often, our self reflection leads us into our areas where we we are more abusive to ourselves than people who may have hurt us in life by, thinking you're not worthy enough, thinking that what others say counts. And then that whole vibration becomes the way you show up in the world.
Wow.
And so it's important for us to be aware of our self reflection. And then we also have what I call self communication. Self
Hmm.
communication is the language we speak to ourselves as we go through our lives. Oh, I'm not smart enough. Oh, this happened to me.
Right.
All those things are combinations. So I actually spelled out stress. And through stress, we find ourselves in a state of always trying to find out how we can become better.
Right.
But what I call this is we are so anxious about what people think about us that we forget to think about ourselves.
No.
And
Yes.
so what happens is what I call this the doing this, where we were taught that you had to do this, you had to do that in order
Yeah.
to be good at school, in order to be recognized in your community. You had to
Right.
have this kind of house, this kind of family.
Hmm.
And that is all because we were trying to satisfy other people instead of
Right.
us. And even though a lot of us grew up in Christian homes, we never took time to appreciate ourselves because
Right.
that wasn't allowed. We were allowed to it's like, well, you can't
That's so true.
pump yourself up. You that's not who we that's our responsibility. It's not yours. So we forget to love ourselves. And when I say love, I mean about appreciation, living with inside of ourselves to see who we are and what is our divine purpose. We
Right.
seem to forget that because we are so busy doing the doingness to be like. I spent my most of my life
Right.
doing the doingness, right?
Right.
Getting a
Right.
college degree,
Right.
getting a family, getting all the stuff
Hmm.
that you
Hmm.
want to be
But not.
in alignment with what you were conditioned.
Right.
And then we never realize how important it is to live lovingly, live in harmony, live in peace with who you are and how
Right.
you show up in the world. It may not be the way I show up in the world. We all came here with different gifts. We all came
Right.
here with
Yep.
different capabilities and how we
Yep.
would shine those capabilities. So we often find ourselves beating ourselves up because of what somebody told us and not what we are.
Right. And you made some valid points right there. And one is we were told to do things, right? So we as we grow up, we're just doing what we're told to do. So we're not being or doing what we really want to do. And I can say that for myself with one of the things with I wanted to work with children. I wanted to work with babies, but I wasn't allowed to. I was told to work in the office. And this was from I was a teenager. And I understand why. I understand the reason behind it, but it so I was never settled in the job that I was in. Even though I did my job well, I was never settled because it's not what I wanted to do. And so it took me years to be settled in it. Like I would say maybe 7 years ago that I got settled in it where I did my job well. It was just a job, but it wasn't what I wanted to do. So that's all those, everything that you said. And so that's why I
Right.
encourage people to register for the conference so that they'll get more from Martha because Martha's another powerhouse. Like
Mm,
she is another
thank you.
powerhouse. The information, the knowledge that she has to help people. Oh my word. So I so I didn't get the title yet of what do you have the title of what you'll be speaking on?
Yes, it's going to be detox your mind and elevate your heart.
Wow. Detox
So,
your mind. Wow.
and elevate your heart. Yeah,
Wow.
we spend a lot of time holding on to our past and never letting go
Yeah.
and be able to learn how to reclaim and reframe and retrain our
Jesus.
thoughts.
Wow. And in doing all of that, doing these are steps to do to help us to truly own our lives, to help us to unleash that potential, that greatest potential, so that we live our best lives now. So,
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't just happen, right? There's things that you have to do.
Mm-hmm.
And so with the detoxing your mind, that
Mm-hmm.
that's another deep level.
Yeah,
It's, it's
it
another
doesn't.
deep level.
Yeah, it doesn't happen overnight. But Catherine, I heard some of what you were saying. It all goes in how we are aware of the how the brain, emotional brain works, and then how we're able to become conscious,
Right,
conscious of our thoughts,
right,
become
right.
conscious of what we say and
Hmm.
how we say
Right,
it.
right.
And
And
so,
that's key right there, being
mhm,
conscious of it,
mhm,
right? Because when
yeah,
we're not conscious, we stay stuck.
yeah, we do, and we stay stuck a lot because we didn't know we don't have to be stuck,
Right. With it, right,
right?
right.
We just
It's
we keep, this consistent warrior. We worry about everything and not release things. So
right.
we don't know that you have the capability to create a different vibration, to create different processes in how you view various activities that happen in your life. And we
And
find ourselves being triggered unnecessarily because
right,
we didn't know we were being triggered.
right.
A lot of things that happen to us we hold on to. And
Right.
holding on to things are
Yeah.
really key. And we think that we suppress them, and we haven't. They're
No.
just in what we call coping
Mm.
mechanisms within our mind. So they're in what I call these little dark rooms. And so when we expose them that were already exposed, we just didn't know they were exposed.
That's why you've got to come and join us at the conference to hear more from Martha, because and also like what you were saying before, because we live through people, really, right? To please people, and so that's another thing that we have to undo. Because if we're pleasing people, how are we owning our lives? How are we knowing to be our true, authentic self? And I always go back to what the word says: we perish for lack of knowledge, and
Hmm.
we really do. So, with joining us on this day, because I call it, it's a time to either reset or have a boost, because with the different things that we've been dealing with for since what the beginning, practically the beginning of this year, and now we're approaching the middle of the year. So this is a time where for people to come and reset or get a boost for to continue on for the rest of 2020, because this June is almost over and it's the middle of the year, right?
Yeah.
It's
Yes.
it's like, and it's the what already?
Yeah, I know, right?
And so
I
we
get
can,
to set that off with my birthday being 6/1.
and so this is a good place to come to detoxify your mind, so you can truly live your best life now.
Yeah,
Ooh,
no, no.
sorry. So I thank you for agreeing to come on tonight, and also to be on the conference itself, one of the lineups. So as we
Thank
get
you.
You're welcome. As we get ready to close, I'm going to bring our other speaker back on. So I'll bring Catherine back on so that we could close. You can give a couple of give a remarks, some closing remarks. Hold on one moment. Let me bring Catherine back in. It's such a pleasure to have you both. I'm so excited, and I look forward to hearing more from you both at the conference itself. So before we end, do you have any words that you would like to share?
But I'm going to jump in and say happy belated birthday, Martha, and thank you for singing
Thank
Psalm
you.
161.
Thank you.
For those of you that are watching, if you know that you have come to a place where you are ready to move forward and you just can't quite understand why you have not moved forward, don't
Mhm.
go back to doing the same thing that you've always done. There's a quote that says, the definition of insanity is to keep doing the same thing over and over and expecting different results. So let me just encourage you to do something different. Do
Yeah.
something different by attending the conference. The beautiful thing this go around, you don't have to go anywhere. You don't have to worry about getting dressed, what you're going to wear, transportation, or commuting. You don't have to do any of that. You can do it right from the comfort of your home. So do something different and join us at the second annual
Mhm.
Living Your Best Life, Own Your Life Now conference.
Thank
Yeah.
you, Catherine. Any last words, Martha, before we sign off?
Just to say that you are the creator and designer of your life. Live your best life now.
Awesomeness, awesomeness. That's why you've got to join us. Another two powerhouses that are going to be that are on the line up, and you just got a taste of what they are going to be speaking about. So I encourage you to just register now. Well, don't wait. Just register now. And I look forward to hearing more next week, Saturday, to June
Yeah.
27th. June
Great.
27th. So thank you again. And for those on the replay also, I encourage you also, just come and join us. Come and join us for a fun day, not just because it's all about change, right? To change our lives. And if we don't do anything, nothing changes. And I say, in fact, it gets worse. So we want the change. Many want the change. Come and join us. Come and join us. So thank you again. And enjoy the rest of your evening. And I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you. Thank
Thank you.
you. Good
Good
night, ladies.
night, everyone. Thank you.